If Oprah Winfrey or Elon Musk hired you to rebuild their personal brand from a trauma informed lens, how would you approach it?
So, if Oprah asked me to rebuild her personal brand, I'd be honored. I'd guide her through some sacred strategy meets soul process. And then I would use that to turn everything that she has, and we'd look at her visibility wound and her stories, and we would retell it through a healing lens. That's how to root her public image into a deeper embodiment. Now, if someone like Elon Musk came to me, respectfully, I would decline. My work is rational, not transactional.
Angel Dash is a flamekeeper, trauma-informed brand strategist, and intuitive web designer who helps healers create soul-aligned brands that amplify their truth and magnetize their ideal clients. Real quick, if you are an aspiring author or have a book idea brewing, this is for you. Ready to self-publish or share your voice with the world? Visit blazegoldburst.com, your portal to publishing, visibility, and global impact. Also, support this movement by diving into Lords or Inner Children by Gita Shripani and Reversed Order Existence by Blaze Goldburst. Alright, let's get back to it.
Hi,
Hello, how are you, Blaze?
I'm doing good. Carl Jung talked about individuation, becoming your true self. How do you help healers or coaches do that through branding?
So, individuation is the foundation of my work. For so many healers, branding starts with what they think they should look like or sound like, and what's professional, what's marketable. But I flip that. I walk clients through a deep process of shedding inherited ideas and ideologies that they have come to know through all of the things that they've been through, right? And so the ones that told them that they had to survive in order to perform. So my whole process is about remembering who they actually are beneath all of the noise. So through story work, design, and messaging, we help them build a brand that isn't performative, it's integrated. Their visuals match their energy, their copy sounds like their soul. It's not about becoming someone, it's about remembering who they are and coming home to themselves.
The audience would like to know more about your journey, how it started, everything from the beginning.
Sure. So I have been a serial entrepreneur for over a decade. I have owned 4 different businesses. I've scaled all 4 of them, but I stepped away from a lot of them because of my own personal journey and my own personal health. I was in the military and I was injured when I was overseas, and that now has made it so that I walk with a cane. And for a while, I get a little emotional when I talk about it sometimes. For a while, I hid myself. I hid the fact that I walked with a cane because I'm so young, and a lot of people would look at me and I felt like they were judging me because I was walking with a cane. And then in 2021, I had some personal monumental shifts happen with a death of a friend and almost the death of my mom. With that, that kind of made me realize that time is short, life is precious, and we have to take what we have and make it bold, make it amazing, make it, once in a lifetime opportunities. So instead of hiding my cane, I started using it as a staff of power, as a staff of identity, and this is who I am. So, and now I help healers and people with soul-led healers who are on a mission to heal the world with their branding and storytelling so that they can be the best version of themselves.
When did you get your spiritual awakening?
So I would have to say that that's probably in 2021 was the start. That was probably the catalyst of what threw me into spiritual awakening. Prior, I was very religious and was in the church, and that wasn't for me anymore. So after 2021, with the death of my friend, that kind of opened the opened my chest and allowed me to have my awakening and be more spiritual with myself and others.
So, I'll be asking you a few questions. Have you done astral travel before? And have you seen your past life as well?
I get glimpses. I am still learning, if you will. And so I know that I've had out of body experiences when I am sleeping. I've seen myself, I've watched myself sleep, but and I've done it through meditation. However, I don't have a full understanding of what all of my past lives are. I get glimpses of them. I have things that feel familiar. I'm very much based on intuition and the that gut feeling, if you will, that tells me I need to do something or look at something, and I look at that as my spirit guides.
So, do you believe that you are developing your spiritual powers as well?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Perfect. So, my next question is, if Freud believed unconscious drives shape behavior, what unconscious beliefs hold people back from being seen in business?
That's a good one. So the most common ones that I see are if I'm seen, I'll be judged. If I'm too big, I'll be unsafe. If I'm visible, I'll be misunderstood or even abandoned. So these beliefs are often rooted in childhood trauma, cultural suppression, ancestral wounds. They manifest as self sabotage, perfectionism in business itself. I call these the visibility wounds because of the trauma that we all have gone through. There's always something that somebody has gone through that has transmuted into why they don't want to be seen. So we can strategize visibility all day, but until we meet the fear that lives beneath the visibility, we'll keep hiding behind truths and half truths and templated brands and things like that.
So, according to you, have you been judged in real life or it was in your mind?
So it seems to me that I've been judged, right? Looking based off of their facial expressions or things that are going on that I feel like I'm reading. However, nobody has ever outwardly said that they were judging me. So, in one way, it could be perceived that my own internal wounds, my own visibility wounds, transpired into feeling as though I was judged, feeling as though somebody is looking at me and going, oh my gosh, she looks funny with a cane. When in actuality, they could be thinking, wow, she really pulls off a cane really well. She knows how to handle herself with a cane. It could be completely opposite. So life is not what we think, and it's all based on our own perceptions. And so when we're negatively thinking about others and what they are thinking about us, that can be hard, and it's something that we have to work on internally in order to move forward.
I agree. So, my next question is, many entrepreneurs worry about saying too much online. How do you help clients find the balance between being real and being safe?
So this one is a very powerful question, because oversharing is often a trauma response. When we haven't felt heard, we can swing between hiding and over explaining. I help clients regulate first because safety in the nervous system allows discernment. From there, we reframe what it means to be real. Real doesn't mean raw. You can be authentic without being emotionally exposed. So then we map out their voice and we map out what their boundaries are with their voice. So what stories are sacred, what stories are strategic, and then even what stories are being healed and still being healed. And then from that point on, we take what resonates with them. So if they don't feel comfortable sharing, or if I ask them, okay, well, let's share this post around a traumatic event that you had, and I ask them, how does that feel in your body? And they're telling me, well, I'm tense, I'm stressed, I have my shoulders are up high. Then we look at it and we say, okay, we're going to push this one off because your nervous system is saying no. And so we base a lot of that off of their nervous system and whether or not they're safe internally.
Okay, so a question. How do you deal with haters?
I ignore them. No, I'm just kidding. Um, to be honest, I try to lead with honesty. I try to lead with information first. So if somebody is questioning my beliefs, if somebody is questioning my methods, then that's not for them, and that's okay. And so typically I will respond in kind, and I'm usually saying, okay, that's not for you, and that's completely understandable, and I move on from that point. Because at this point in time, what I do is not going to be for everybody. What you do may not be for everybody. The thing is that I'm not made to fit into a box. But I know that the right people are going to find me, the right people are going to find you, and that's the important part. The important part is that having haters, if you will, that's still a form of you being seen, which is still a very scary visibility wound, because you don't want to be judged based off of these haters. But at the end of the day, their perception of you is one tiny little bit of piece that you have given them, right? So if somebody is telling me, well, I don't like this sound bite that you have from a speaking engagement. Okay, well, that's only one facet of my entire life. That's only one facet of my entire characteristic. So if you don't like that part of me, that's okay. You don't have to. I'm not made for everyone, and I know that.
What about destructive criticisms? What would you say about that?
Destructive criticisms, I have boundaries around. And the reason why I say that is because I don't mind having a conversation with a colleague, with a friend, with anyone about things that I can improve on, because that is my goal. I'm always trying to improve. So if they have something that could potentially help, I'm going to listen regardless of what they say. However, if they are destructive about it, I put up boundaries. Okay, you know what? This is a little intense right now. Why don't we take some space and we can talk about this when you've calmed down? Because I want to have adult conversations. And I shouldn't just say adult, because it's still adult conversations, right? But regardless, it's not necessarily an adult conversation. It's conversations in general. I want to be able to have a enlightening conversation with somebody. So putting up the boundaries of destructive and constructive is beneficial for everyone.
Absolutely. A lot of coaches feel torn between what's authentic and what's marketable. How can someone build a brand that's both true and successful?
So the biggest thing that I tell my clients is how authenticity and strategy don't have to live on opposite sides of the spectrum. When someone deeply embodies their truth, it naturally magnetizes the right people. The key is alignment, not performance. So I help clients own their story, clarify their message, and package it with a structure and soul that's when your brand becomes both magnetic and scalable. Because when you have authenticity, you're showing the world, this is me. You're showing the world, this is who I am, and I want to be seen. I want to help others. My mission is to help heal others, and that's where the authenticity comes in. But when it comes to strategy, it's about, okay, well, let's take your truths, let's take your missions, let's take your learning points that you have had, and let's turn it into something that works for your audience. So giving them a solution, because that's the point, right? You're trying to help your audience with something. So we take whatever their mission is, we take their truths, we take their learning points, and we turn that into something that can help their audience while still being authentic.
Next question. If Oprah Winfrey or Elon Musk hired you to rebuild their personal brand from a trauma informed lens, how would you approach it?
That's a great question. And I'll be honest, it brings up an important part of how I approach brand work. As someone who works through trauma informed, as you called it earlier, trauma informed lens, I deeply consider alignment. right? Values, impact, all of that when I'm choosing who I'm going to collaborate with. So if Oprah asked me to rebuild her personal brand, I'd be honored. I'd guide her through some sacred strategy meets soul process. And then I would use that to turn everything that she has, and we'd look at her visibility wound and her stories, and we would retell it through a healing lens. That's how to root her public image into a deeper embodiment, right? Now, if someone like Elon Musk came to me, respectfully, I would decline. My work is rational, not transactional. It's built on trust and consent and equality, not equity, but equality and heart-centered leadership. If someone's values aren't aligned with those principles, it's not a match for me. And that's okay. They can find somebody that works for them that has the same values that they do. But for me, being trauma informed isn't just a method, it's a boundary. It's how I protect the integrity of the work that I do and how it communicates to the communities that it impacts.
Why do so many heart centered entrepreneurs struggle to charge what they're worth?
I struggled with this one too for a while because worth has often been tied to survival, not value. Heart-led people are usually givers by nature. They've been conditioned to believe that receiving is selfish or that healing shouldn't be sold. But when we undercharge, we're not just undervaluing our time, we're blocking the flow of energy and mutual respect from others to receive us and us to give to them. So I help my clients untangle the money from mortality, right? Not mortality. The life of money and the morality behind it, because you're not charging for your hours. You're charging for the transformation that you are giving to your clients. And that's what I help my clients convey.
So, do you also work on your chakras?
I do. And I actually I have a friend of mine who is a shaman, and I have another friend of mine who is a Reiki master. And I see them regularly to get blocks unblocked.
Also, do you also work on your money manifestation thing?
I do. I do a lot of money manifestation, but it's not necessarily money that I work on. I work on abundance, and I work on clearing the stagnant energy. That's what I work on.
What does abundance mean to you?
Abundance for me is everything. Everything that makes me happy, everything that makes my family happy. Abundance is about giving as well. So the more that I give, the more I will receive. That's how I have always looked at it. And I hope to continue to do that as well throughout everything.
What's the link between your visibility wounds and your money blocks?
So I would say that these are siblings in the same nervous system. Visibility wounds say it's not safe to be here. Money blocks say it's not safe to receive. Together, they form a protective shell around your voice and your value. And when we heal the root fear, usually tied to rejection, abandonment, or worthlessness, we begin to open to visibility and abundance in a way that feels regulated, not risky.
Can a brand actually shift your relationship with money and help you attract wealthier clients?
Oh, absolutely. When your brand is rooted in alignment, not hustle, it naturally speaks to clients who value depth and presence and integrity. A clear brand tells your audience, I trust myself. You can trust me too. That trust creates emotional safety, and people pay for what feels safe. So if I am showing, hey, you know what? For instance, my profile picture is me holding a snake, right? Which that was an amazing opportunity. And I loved being able to hold the snake. It felt like a hug when she was around my neck. And just being able to feel and take a moment to kind of be in that moment with her. Her name was Ginny. That was the snake's name. But my point with that is that I'm showing the depth that is there when it comes to danger, but safe, and I feel like that was a big part of why I took that picture, why I had that picture taken, because a lot of people are afraid of snakes, and that's okay. I'm not trying to undervalue or invalidate anybody's fear, but what I was trying to demonstrate is that you can hold your fear at a distance, you can embody your fear, you can be who you are and still have that fear, because the whole point of being brave and courageous is being afraid but doing it anyway.
So, what does alignment mean to you? What kind of alignment exactly?
So alignment to me means, to me personally, it means that I'm in tune with my higher self. When I'm helping clients with their alignment, I'm helping them find their center, their where they feel the most safe, right? So alignment is about taking the fears, taking the worries, taking all of the negative things that have happened and allowing them to feel safe, knowing, hey, I validate what happened. I understand that this is what happened to you. I may not understand exactly what happened, but I can sympathize with you, right? And so with that, I take the time to help them step forward, even when they are scared.
How do you create a brand that feels authentic but also makes six-figure business sense?
So we would start with the essence, their story, their energy, the values. When we weave that into strategy, we create offers that meet needs, copy that connects, and visuals that anchor the vibe that they have. I always say that your brand should feel like both a temple and a lighthouse. It should honor your soul and still guide people to take action.
So, my next question, what advice do you give to spiritual entrepreneurs who fear being seen and being paid?
Start with grace. You're not broken, and your fear makes sense. And then we would get clear on this. You don't owe the world your wounds. But you do deserve to be well compensated for your wisdom. Being seen and being paid can coexist when they're grounded in embodiment, not obligation. That's what I would probably tell them. Yeah.
You talk about trauma-informed branding. How does that help create safety for the person and the audience?
So trauma-informed branding honors the nervous system, and it honors nervous system regulation, yours and your clients. It means building a brand that reflects truth without pressure. It's about designing experiences on your website, on your visuals, in your words that feel safe, clear, and consensual to what others have experienced. It also gives the creator, you, permission to choose what, when, and how you share.
Can a well-designed brand act like emotional insurance, building trust before someone even speaks to you?
Yes, absolutely, and it should. Before someone ever books a call, your brand is speaking. Your tone, your layout, your colors, your photos, all of it tells a story. A brand built with intentional energy signals this is the place where you're safe, where your truth matters. A brand built with intentional energy is just the most grounding place that you can be.
What makes a website feel safe and aligned for someone who's been through trauma?
Well, so safety isn't just about a clean design. It's about energetic clarity. A trauma-informed website feels like a soft landing. right? So you're looking for something and you're online and you're scrolling through other websites and something catches your eye with, well, hypothetically, we'll do my website. Somebody it catches their eye, they go to my website and they see that it's dark, it's moody, but then the words start to pop out at them and it starts to speak to them. Hey, you're safe here. I've been through what you've been through. Not everything. I understand some of the things that you're going through, right? And so this offers guidance without pushing, right? And so it offers without overwhelming as well. And it also reflects the humanity of the person behind it. When your site sounds and feels like you, it puts everyone's nervous system at ease, or especially the ones that come to your website.
Have you written any book?
I am in the process of writing a book, yes.
What is that about? Can you share?
Yeah, so the title of the book is called Serpent and Strategy, and it's a Flamekeeper's Path to Reclamation. So in the book, I talk about my visibility wounds, my trauma that I've had, and what I felt comfortable sharing, right? Because we talked about our nervous system. And I also talk about basically the trauma that happened, the fall, the shedding, the things that I had to go through, the lowest points in my life because of these situations, because I didn't heal, right? And then it talks about the healing and the methods that I use with my clients on how to help them step forward in their identity as well. So it's kind of a memoir and a how-to as well.
Do you believe in karma?
I do. Absolutely, I do. um, the biggest reason why I definitely try to give more than I wouldn't say receive. I try to give first. And I'm always trying to be kind to others because people were not always kind to me, and we're all human. We're all in this life together, and so when it comes to karma, the very first thing that I can tell anybody that I also live by is be nice to everyone around you because you don't know what they might be going through in their life.
And what is your opinion about karmic relationships?
I believe that they are powerful. I believe I actually have a karmic relationship with somebody in particular. And I say that because when you feel drawn to them, it's like a pull. Like you can't explain it. At least this is my understanding of a karmic relationship. So I could be completely wrong. But my understanding of the karmic relationship is that for me it's a pull. It's an unexplainable pull from the core. Like my soul feels pulled to this one specific person.
So they might be teaching you some kind of lesson, maybe good or bad.
I do have a lot of those too, yeah.
What would you prefer in general, a karmic relationship or a soulmate or a twin flame?
So I've experienced all of those. I understood a karmic relationship as being somebody who is inevitably in your life, right? And so I would say that our understanding between you and myself, our understanding of the karmic relationship is similar, but not necessarily the same. So if I'm basing my understanding off of how you have perceived it, I would probably prefer to have a soulmate. And funny enough, I actually have two. So it is an amazing experience for myself. And I also have even experienced a platonic soulmate. And she is the one who passed away. And she was my soul sister, if you will. And her death was heart-wrenching. I felt like my entire heart was ripped out of my chest.
So my next question is, can your brand protect you emotionally, just like insurance protects financially?
Absolutely. A well-anchored brand becomes a shield and a signal. So it says, here's who I am, here's how I operate, and here's what I don't tolerate. So this clarity acts as like an emotional protection, and it filters out misaligned clients, reduces your own burnout, and even minimizes emotional labor. So if I have, so for instance, my mission is soul-led leaders on a mission to heal, right? And so originally when I first started my business, when I first started doing branding for healers, my messaging was off, right? So I focused on just healers. But what I realized soon after that is that everyone is healing in their own way. And even some business owners are healers, but they may not classify themselves as healers. And I say that because of a recent friend of mine who she talks a lot about domestic violence in her life that she's experienced and how she helps others who are experiencing that get out of it. But she wouldn't necessarily classify herself as a healer, but she's still on a healing mission, right? So that's the power of you having the embodiment of your brand, and you also conveying that in your copy on your website, because now you're putting up that boundary of like, hey, I don't work with X, Y, and Z. My messaging is specifically designed for these people. So it can act as both the shield and the lighthouse.
So, a question: how has your experience been with toxic clients?
um, in the beginning, when I first started out in business, I was like everyone else. I was like, I'm gonna get all the clients. I don't care who they are. I'm gonna do this, and it's just gonna happen. However, I learned quickly after that, and this was like 8 years ago. So this was prior to my spiritual awakening, and I was always drained. I was always tired. I was exhausted. I was drained. I was experiencing burnout, but I didn't know that that's what burnout was at the time. So after 2021, with my spiritual embodiment, my spiritual awakening, I started doing more self work, shadow work, and meditation. And I got this message that said that I needed to protect my energy, right? And I was like, okay, so that meant like personal. That's what I thought. I thought it was just personal. Protect your energy personally. And I was like, okay, well, if this person doesn't, this one doesn't align with my energy, so I'm just gonna like cut them off, right? But when I started doing more and more deeper work, that's when it came to the light that it's like, no, you need to do this in business too. What are you doing? So that's when I started realizing, oh, people that come to me and work with me are not always going to align. So if they don't align with me, if something feels off, if our personalities will clash, or I feel like there are. So this is typically why I do a discovery call. So when I do the discovery call, I will talk to them about my methods, how I work with things, what's happening, how I communicate, how we move forward. And if at any point in time I get a red flag, whether that's somebody going, rolling their eyes, body language, or the feelings that I'm getting based off of how they're communicating to me, I will send them a message after the discovery call and let them know, hey, you know what? This isn't going to work out. And so I have some other options that you might want to try out. But unfortunately, I cannot move forward with you. So it's about putting up the boundaries and protecting my space as well as my current clients, because if I'm working with somebody who's toxic, that's inevitably going to ripple out to others, right? So got to protect my energy.
What if someone is an expert in pretending? What would you do?
I am really good at seeing through it. I get like this tingle, if this makes sense. I get this tingle typically at the back of my ear, that if somebody has bad intentions or ulterior motives, I usually have a feeling. So my spirit guides look out for me very well. And if I am talking to somebody and they have ulterior motives, I get the tingle behind my ear. And then I'm like, cool, you know what? You have a great day. I got to go.
What if they make you do endless revisions?
In my contract, I actually have a specific amount of revisions. So if they start to, we call this scope creep. If they start to do scope creep, I will inform them, hey, that's not in our contract right now. So let's go ahead and I can send you an invoice for what those additional revisions will cost. But right now, what's in your contract is only 3.
Some of them will not agree and they change their mind also.
Yes.
Like, no, I won't pay. Something like
And
that.
if they say no, I'm not going to pay, then I just reiterate what's in the contract. Hey, you signed this contract and this is what was in the contract. And if this doesn't align with you, then we can terminate the contract. But just keep in mind that, there is no refund for the money that you've paid, because I ask for money up front. I don't just do the work and then expect to be paid later.
There is also a risk of chargebacks.
There is also risk of chargebacks, absolutely. However, because I'm really good at feeling the energy of the clients and whether or not it's a good fit for me, I haven't had that problem yet.
So, my next question is, do you think a well crafted brand can almost hypnotize potential clients, subtly influencing how safe, trustworthy, or valuable you seem?
Yes, but I'd reframe it as energetic coherence, not manipulation. Um, when every element of your brand aligns, your story, your visuals, copy, presence, it creates resonance that feels magnetic to your audience, right? People feel that alignment and say, I don't know why, but I trust this, and I'm going to move forward with this. And that's what we try to convey with our clients, and that's what I help my clients also do with their audience, because it's not about manipulation. I'm not trying to manipulate anyone, because manipulation has a negative connotation to it. So we want it to align with the audience's values. We want it to align with their story, their mission. So if I am my client and I'm trying to tell people about the transformation that this healer had, right, that I had helped her experience, then I'm going to talk about that experience. I'm going to talk about what she had gone through or that person had gone through in their transformation, because that's the important part. Most clients and most people in the audience, they don't want to know exactly what you do right away. They want to know how you can help them. They want to know, I have a problem. I'm looking for something. I'm looking for someone to help. How can you help me? That's the biggest thing.
What has your own journey taught you about integrating identity, trauma, and brand voice?
So my brand was born from reclaiming parts of me that I used to hide, right? So my queerness, my disability, my grief, my intensity, I used to tone myself down to be more professional, sound more professional, more palatable. And now I let my soul speak with strategy, and I teach my clients to do the same. So the more that I integrated my trauma, the more my voice softened, but my impact sharpened. Because at that point, I resonated with people. I wasn't just some other person that looks professional on camera in my pictures, right? I was somebody who, I'm dark, I'm moody, I like the dark, moody. I'm about your shadows. I'm about diving through the dark, because me personally, I've been through the dark. I've been through my own hellfire in the dark by myself. I didn't have anybody else. And the whole reason why I call myself a flame keeper is because I went through the dark, and now I came out of it with a torch that I can hand to other people so that we can set the world ablaze and we can help others to heal in the best ways possible.
What is your opinion about witchcraft?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I think that witchcraft and manifestation, I think, are hand in hand. A little different, but my understanding of it is very they're the two sides to the same coin, right? I have a little bit of everything in my own practice, right? So I do a little bit of witchcraft, I do a little bit of spell work, and then I do a lot of meditation, and I do a lot of manifestation and journaling. That's another big one, which could also go hand in hand with witchcraft. So I believe that a lot of it just has to do with energy work, and depending on how you go about it, and depending on which spells that you do and how you protect your energy, that can be more towards witchcraft or it can be more towards manifestation. So I think that it's just two sides to one coin.
Absolutely. You describe yourself as neurospicy and boldly visible. How does that shape the way you show up and guide clients?
So do you know what neurospicy means?
I would like to know more about it.
Okay. So we have neurospicy is a fun word that I heard at one point in time that means neurodivergent. It means that your brain thinks differently. So diagnosed with ADHD, ADD, autism, and a number of others, right? So I didn't like neurodivergent. I felt like that was just too on the nose, too putting me in a box. I don't like to be put in boxes. I have never liked to be put in boxes, and I will never be put in a box. I don't even think I'll do that when I die. I'm not going in a coffin. So I decided to embody neurospicy because I heard it from somewhere on social media, and it just felt more me. So I have ADHD, which can be a superpower, but it can also be crippling, right? So being neurospicy means that I feel everything more deeper, louder, faster, and I consider it a superpower, but it's also a source of vulnerability, right? So I design everything with clarity and spaciousness in mind because I need that in my own space. And so do many of my other clients. So I show up as all of me. Cain, chaos, creativity, queerness, all of it, right? And that gives clients permission to show up wholly as themselves too. So I think that when you step into your power, when you accept all of who you are, the darkness and the light, right? I am very much about the duality of life, right? Good and bad, dark and light, love and hate, a lot of things, right? I understand the duality. What I'm trying to convey is that you can have one and still be the other, right? Like Persephone. She was the goddess of spring, if I'm not mistaken, and then she became queen of the damned, queen of hell, and she was still both. So it's about duality, and it's about showing up wholly as yourself.
So, do you identify as an extrovert or introvert?
It depends on the day. I think that comes into play with the neurospicy. I can choose whether to be introverted or extroverted. And so when I'm out with people that I believe will fill my cup energetically, I will probably be very extroverted. But if I'm drained as well, and this is a lot of like self-awareness, trying to figure out myself and making sure that I listen to my body. If I am drained, if I am energetically drained or physically drained and I'm feeling it, then I become very much an introvert and I guard my time. And I tell people, hey, I have to move this to here. I need space for this. And I'm very, very good on my boundaries with that.
What kind of energy should someone feel when they look at their brand or website? And what if they don't feel it?
You should feel seen. You should feel resonance, as if your website is speaking to you, talking with you, and not just for you, right? Think of your website as a partner. You have a partner that you're walking with, business partner or otherwise, but you share the same ideas, which you have maybe different outlooks on how things get done, but it's a partnership. So whatever you're saying one way, whatever you're saying in person should also resonate with what's on your website as well. And so if your website isn't speaking with you, then that's sort of like a misalignment. It's not a failure, it's just a misalignment, and it's something that needs to just be adjusted, and then you can put forth the partner, which is your website, so that you can get to all of your audience.
So, according to you, should people mention their pricing or not of their product?
I always tell my clients to do what feels right for themselves. So if mentioning their prices on their website gives them a tightness in their chest, then I suggest not to. I suggest that, okay, well, let's just say, like, we'll do that in the call. And so we'll reframe that so that they feel comfortable putting the product on there, because sometimes it's just a matter of putting the product on there and then they have the freeze up with the pricing, right? So go based on what you feel in your chest, in your body. If you have a tightness in your chest, if you have a tightness in your throat, if you have a tightness in your shoulders, then maybe reevaluate whether this is something that you share now or maybe you share it later at a different time.
What would you do personally?
So I'm very transparent. So on my website, I have listed my prices, but the prices vary. And the reason why I say that is because on my website, it says starting at this price, right? My whole goal is to get people to resonate with me, align with me, but I want them to get on a call with me to feel my energy, to see if that's what fits for them, because I may not be for everybody. I know that I'm not for everybody. So if somebody gets on a call with me and they're like, this doesn't really feel right. Okay, awesome. Well, you know what? I have some resources for you. And if something changes, let me know. So I'm always about giving and helping, but I will tell the clients on the call, transparency wise, hey, my prices start from here to here, depending on what you're looking for, because I don't believe in hiding things from people. I don't like when things are hidden from me. So I try to be very upfront about all that.
What would you prefer? Organic promotion or paid advertising?
That's hard. Both will get you the end result, just at different time frames. So organic is slower, but more steady and more controlled. Paid is a little bit more chaotic and can also get you in front of clients and people and audiences that maybe you would not have even thought of. So there's benefits to both, and I mean there's pros and cons to both regardless, but it's a matter of what you feel works for you.
What would you prefer most
Mm,
as of now?
I'm unsure how to answer that. And the reason why I say that is because I have been doing organic for the longest time, and it's something that I'm familiar with and I know. And it works well for me getting in front of the clients that resonate with me. I feel like if I were to do paid advertising, it would get me some unknown results that I don't know I would be comfortable with right now.
Have you ever had to rebrand yourself, not visually, but emotionally or energetically?
Oh, absolutely. Several times. Several times. After my injury in the military, after losing my best friend in 2021, after coming out as queer in my 30s, after forming a throuple with my two partners, like every time that I have rebranded myself, it's because another part of me is coming through. Another genuine, honest part of me is stepping through the light and wants to be seen. And so every time that has happened, I honor that and I rebrand myself into this person. And it's not rebranding to be somebody I'm not, right? I said this a little bit earlier. It's about rebranding and honoring the becoming. So whenever a rebrand, I say this all the time, a brand or rebrand is a ceremony, right? So the ceremony for me is if I'm rebranding myself because something has happened in my life, it's the ceremony of being wholly seen, of being who I am. And that's what's important. And so yes, absolutely I've had to rebrand myself.
Can you share a moment? where a client's brand transformation also created a financial or mindset breakthrough?
Oh, okay. Yes, actually. So one of my favorite stories that I like to share is about these business partner clients that I had, Lindsay and Jordan, um, two licensed therapists and best friends who run a practice together, right? And they were local in my local area. And when they first came to see me, their website was barely getting like a few hundred visitors per month. They felt like their brand didn't reflect who they are and who they were becoming, right? It was all couch stuff and therapy cliches and nothing about their actual energy. Um, what they really wanted was permission to be different. They they loved disco balls. They had gritty humor, and their powerful motto was actually, "You can be broken and still shine." That became the North Star that we followed for their brand, right? We built a brand that honored their duality, the light and the dark, because Lindsay liked more of the lighter colors. Jordan liked more of the darker colors. And then we added some sparkle and shadow. So Jordan and Lindsay, they are opposites, quite literally in personality and everything. But together, their energy is electric. So we channeled that into their visual identity. We channeled that into their website copy and their user experience, everything. Every pixel is now reflecting like their true essence, not just the therapy mold that they do. And so the result was actually within 2 months of launching their new website, traffic went from I think it was, we had a couple hundred the last time with their old website, and now it's at 25,000 views on their website monthly. So they're now fully booked. They now have a wait list with new clients, like, and that's what moved me most was when they actually told me, we finally feel like our brand matches the power of what we do. Like, that was probably the most monumental part for me, because they had a vision. They want to heal others, but they didn't want to fit into a box. They didn't want to fit into the normal therapy on the couch box that everybody was putting on their website. And so we took it, and I gave them because one of my packages also includes brand photography ideas, right? Because I want you to go get pictures and images done that will fit the new branding that we are trying to embody. Like, that's the whole thing. So I don't even know what I called it at the time, but I sent them their package. In the package was their brand photography ideas. They went out to a local area with water and took pictures with the disco balls, and it fit everything. So monumental.
That's wonderful. So, I have a question like, what is your opinion about AI replacing everything in the future?
I know that AI probably will, but I don't think it's as soon as everybody thinks. Um, and I say that because a lot of people say that AI is taking over graphic design, logo design, website design. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done with that. A lot. And so when somebody says, "Oh, I created this logo with AI," there's discrepancies, there's misspellings, there's small little things that the code of the AI has incorporated into your logo that isn't clean, that isn't refreshing. Like, and we can always start with that as an idea, but we still have a long way to go before they can completely take over everything. So
So, by then we will be prepared
yeah,
also to
I
survive.
think so. I think so.
So, the final question, how can people reach you, book a session with you, or learn more about your work?
Well, if this conversation lit something up in anyone, I'd love to keep the fire going. They can grab my Bold Brand Starter Kit at the link in my bio in any of my socials. You can go to angel-brandingco.com. There's some sacred resources in there as well. And you can follow me on Instagram. Most of my socials are Angel-Branding Co. You can search for Flamekeeper because that's everywhere in my bios, and you should be able to find me. But my DMs are always open, and if people want to talk to me, they certainly can.
Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you so much, and it was a pleasure to meet you, Blaze. Thanks for all your patience with me. I appreciate it.